I wish we had that clip from Teddy KGB from the movie Rounders. Hanging around. It's a terrible Russian accent. What does that mean? The Stars hung around tonight, and then they found a way to win the hockey game. We'll talk all about it. We've got Sean, we got Luds, John, I'm here. Sam will be joining us later, probably hopped up on goofballs. Let's get it started. The post-game show. Despite popular misconception, we learned tonight that lightning can and often does strike twice in the same place. Tonight, the Stars avoided certain... Oh, Sean's shaking his head already. Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Stars win this one
4-2
over the Tampa Bay Lightning. Welcome to the DLLS Dallas Stars postgame show. Craig Ludwigs, Sean Shapiro, John Anderson, our producer. I'm Owen Newkirk. And the Stars have won... for the, you ready? Big round number, 2,000th time in their franchise history in the regular season. Most of them in Dallas, or a strong majority of them. In fact, I actually wrote that down. You'd think I'd have it ready. The Stars won 758 games as the North Stars in Minnesota. Now 1,242. They have the third most wins in the NHL, Luddy, since they moved to Dallas in '93.
Yeah, I thought we departed the part about the Minnesota thing.
No, it's just they don't wear the colors, but they still keep the stats.
Yeah,
But think about that. Since the Stars moved to Dallas, they have the third most regular season wins in the NHL. That means that they've been an incredibly successful franchise.
I would say steady, consistent.
Yeah.
And, and again, you go back and you look at the group of players, the Hall of Famers that have been here, when we first got here with those guys. And there's a couple future ones, in my opinion, that'll be on this club here, too, after they win a championship.
Well, they got to do that first, but they're well on their way. Sean, I think we should get right to what I thought, and Luddy made a great point early. Jake Oettinger kept them in this hockey game for quite a while. And then because they were hanging around, not going to do the voice again, they were able to score, get another one, and all of a sudden they win with a little bit of breathing room.
First off, I'm wondering now if Sam's ever seen Rounders, and we might have to assign him a homework assignment to watch that on the
He's
flights.
young enough, he may not have seen it.
Yeah.
You're talking to me?
I don't know.
No, Sam.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen Rounders?
I have seen Rounders. I was checking audio levels, so I'm like 30 seconds behind you guys. So
I
I
gotcha.
thought Sean said John.
No, he said Sam.
No. I said Sam. But
No, believe it or not, and I'll jump on this real quick and let Sean go back to it. Anytime we're making fun of somebody for having been sheltered or not seen something, it's probably a good bet that we're making fun of Sam. Is that fair? You were like...
It's fair to make fun of Sam at any point you like to. It's fair. He's fair game.
Pre-game show, you said, have you ever been let out of the state?
He just seems like he's very, very raw, very new.
But he's willing to
His
learn.
eyes are wide open now, and he's got some of the best people to guide him along this path of his.
Do you think that it'll be too much for him if I tell him he's 1-0 on Stars road trips?
Too much for him?
Or will he explode with joy?
I don't know if he'll explode with joy. He'll give you that weird Sam grin, and then his brain will flit off to something else, and then he'll point out it. And I just want to know if he's going to point out the Tesla coil, because at Lightning games there's a Tesla coil that brings lightning down, and it seems like the type of shiny thing from the press box that would definitely get Sam's attention.
Thing.
I seriously, I think he's excited to get back to his hotel room where there's actually some decoration and some pictures and things hanging up in a room that he's living out of for a day or so.
Like, ooh, these are fancy ones. Sam, we can't wait to have you on the fourth segment. We will do the same in front of him. In case you're just joining us, we are not taking advantage of Sam being in Tampa to bag on him while he's not here, because nothing changes. If he was sitting right next to us, we would still do this. So I can't wait for segment 4. All right, Sean, let's get to it. the Stars, this is Sean's favorite, where we talk about the goals and the game itself, and he says, get over it, let's move on.
In sequential order.
Well, you want to do it every third goal?
Yeah, let's do it that way. Let's go with that. Every third goal.
I'm going to confuse the hell out of Luds. You should have seen him at the end of the first period when the clips were coming in. And he was looking at the wrong stat. So
Yeah, Sean, I was trying to quote what the score was, but unfortunately, I wasn't looking at the scoreboard part. I was looking at the shot clock.
Yeah, that's going to be an all-time blooper 2 weeks from now, the next time we actually have a show before midnight.
Yeah, John had a little work to do on putting that one together.
So the early goal, actually, there was a Braden Point split the defense right away. This was early in the game. Oettinger made a good save. We talked about him keeping him in it, and he made a couple of really smart saves in that opening period. But it was, I mean, Luddy, was it defensive coverage? I mean, Cirelli is wide open on a rebound at the top of the crease, and he scored not once but twice in the first period, and basically the same spot.
You are just wanting me to go off, aren't you?
I
do. When you phrase that as defensive coverage, you know where I'm going with that one.
Go for it.
Okay. Apparently, according to your investigative work, they don't play man-on-man in their own zone. That according to you.
No.
According
to
you.
a source in the team.
I was wondering how you're going to do that. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
I don't know if I believe him.
Well, here's the deal. Like right off of a face-off, when I see Brendan Smith, who's starting in front of his net, on the hash mark in front of the net, and the guy that he's covering, next thing you know, Brendan is out at the top of the blue line, the top of the circle, covering that guy. And then as Matt Dumba comes back to the front of the net, he just kind of runs over Wyatt and the other guy that's standing in front because he's trying to get into the corner to follow the guy that he was following around. And in the middle of all that, Wyatt kind of stumbles a little bit. And then that next thing you know, Wyatt's standing all alone in front of the net, doesn't get the coverage on Cicerelli, and he gets a nice little tap in.
Hagel gets the assist. Cirelli gets a goal for the 5th straight game. And Sean, Cirelli was incredible, especially in that first period. He was really up for it. I ended on the night with 8 scoring chances. He had 4 of them alone and 2 goals in the first. He had that one, and then he had one 4.5 minutes later when he got a rebound from Lilleberg. And, I mean, it was his own rebound because he tipped it on the Lilleberg shot. And then Luddy and I talked about this from the couch, which if you ever come to Dallas again, we'll show you the couch and the rest of the office. But Miro Heiskanen got physically out-muscled by Cirelli on the second goal. That made it 2-1. We'll talk about the Dadonov goal in a minute. But like those 2 goals from Cirelli were because he just, frankly, knew the space and he outworked everybody to go get those pucks.
He kept outworking guys, and the other thing he did was, and it's the one I think of the chance later in I think it was the second period where Oettinger made the glove save on him. He just realized that no one was going to properly cover him when he went to the net. If I just want to, and yes, I'm not even trying to fire.
Preach it, Sean. Preach it, please. Go.
Cirelli he outworked guys when they attempted to cover him. But he also just realized if he just went to the net, no one was going to go with him 80% of the time. So credit to a smart player by doing that. And he got 2. He probably should have had another. But we touched on Jake. Like the way Oettinger played tonight, Oettinger was really good. And Cirelli could have had 3 or 4 just on his own based on where he kept getting to and how the Stars defense just lacked covering him.
The Stars had a high danger chance after Cirelli's first goal. And it was one where the puck came back out, kind of a scramble to Tyler Seguin. He was wide open in the right slot, and he cranked a slap shot. I thought it was a really important save by Vasilevsky because that could have easily tied it. But then they did tie it. It was about 2 minutes after the first Cirelli goal. Lyubushkin took a shot from the point, and it went off the skate of Dadonov and in. It will be Dadonov's goal, his 6th of the year. And amazingly, Luds, he's already halfway to the 12 goals he had last year.
Yeah, when I saw that, I saw 6 already, and I asked you, and obviously you know all the stats and numbers and everything. Like
or
that.
I can look them up on my
You
computer.
didn't have to look it up. You knew it. But no, but again, you know what that is? That's just battling, not necessarily in front of the net, but close enough to the net where you kind of get the attention of the defenseman that you're battling with, because that's where defensemen are supposed to be. They're supposed to be battling at that part of the net. And he gets a fortunate. Sean's the only one that caught that.
I heard it. I just was trying not to laugh.
I want to go before that, because you talked about Lyubushkin and his shot. It started before that for me, and it was Sam Steele. Sam Steele gave Lyubushkin the perfect pass for that one-timer, for that shot. It was right in his feet spot. Lyubushkin keeps it on the ice, creates a rebound shot, or so to speak. But again, I give credit to Dadonov to stay in that fight right there, and he gets rewarded for it.
Yeah, his stick was never anywhere near the ice, and it went off the skate and in. But that's one of those goals where, Vasilevsky had this look. We've seen Jake have this look even this year where the puck goes in, they get up and look around and kind of look at their defense like, what happened there?
Yeah, well, we've seen that. That's just a little frustrating. You know, I mean, that's frustration showing from certain players when certain things happen. So we don't have to name names here.
Sean, as a goalie, do you get frustrated ever where you see one of your teammates that's defending? Doesn't have to be a defenseman, but somebody's supposed to be doing something and they don't win that tie-up or something, and a puck goes in that you can't reach because they didn't cover the person they were supposed to?
Yes.
Yeah. And so do you
But you know the difference though, Sean, right, is like if it happens just once or twice, and then typically or normally the player does a good job of it, because you're not always going to win the battles. You're going to run up against guy. Like, again, I might as well get out of the way. Like, one of the best was Joe Pavelski. Joe was one of the best at being able to keep his stick unavailable to defenders, and he kept it loose. He kept it out in front of them, and I think the other side of that always with him was he keeps it in front of him, and he was able to tip it on his forehand, backhand, whatever. And I think defensemen, all they have to do is look for the open area of the ice that gets the easiest to the goaltender, and they had a pretty good idea that Joe was going to get a piece of it.
So it's 2-1 after the second Cirelli goal, sandwiched around the Dadonov goal. And then the Stars take a penalty, and it was Miro Heiskanen for the puck over the glass. They killed that off pretty well, in fact. They only gave up a couple of chances, and nothing was particularly crazy. And then they get one of the prettier goals there, and there's going to be a couple of them tonight for the Stars. A backhand saucer pass by Matt Duchene to Miro Heiskanen, who steps up and rips one over the glove of Vasilevsky. And it's Miro's third of the year. It ties it at 2, and that's where it would stand until the third period. And Luddy, I thought that something that Razor said I really liked. He said he scores with his legs, meaning he uses his skating ability and speed to get to an area where he could receive that pass and score.
I said that's one of the biggest strengths that Miro has, is he can skate himself out of coverage, and he can skate the puck out of his own zone with his legs, and he doesn't always have to make that first pass. He beats the first guy with his legs, and then he kind of breaks down coverage. But on that particular play, there's not many players in the league that are going to even attempt that pass on your backhand. I mean, Duchene is coming across the blue line. He's on the far side of the ice, and he knows enough to leave him. He got a little bit fortunate because there was a back checker coming back, and he got a little piece of it that kind of nudged it up to Miro's stick. But we've seen Miro go to that spot quite a few times now this year. He's attempting to go, high far side, high short side. And I like that he's shooting the puck, and he's not trying to do, sometimes he rounds the net if he gets himself in too deep. But I think he's kind of feeling from that area now. And
Sean, here we are, 2-2 at the end of the first. And I go back to my original point. The high danger chances weren't very high, for lack of a better word. It was 3-2 Tampa by my count. The score was 2-2. Of course, the Dadonov goal was not a high danger chance. It just went off his skate and went in. But at that point, even though it wasn't like a one-sided, the scoring chances were 8-7 Tampa. But it still felt like Jake Oettinger was the big reason why the Stars were where they were, because he was making the routine saves look quite routine.
Yeah, he did a really good job calming things down. We talked before the game about how he would look at the other end of the ice and see this as an opportunity and a challenge against Andrei Vasilevsky, and he did that. And one of the things about Oettinger when he's playing well is he helps stabilize the team, and I think that was a big factor tonight. To me, it's something that started in that first period, and then we'll talk about it in a little bit here as we go through things in chronological order. But by the third period, there's
it really sticks in his craw, doesn't it?
By the third period, you've got a couple big, calm saves for Jake in the third period when the game is on the line. Where it's I know it's a 2-goal game at that time when Dallas is leading, but it's I think the save with about 2 minutes left on the one where there's a little bit of chaos. Just all of that stuff just helped calm the storm, and. It's a big proving point for Oettinger as he kind of goes head to head with Vasilevsky here.
We will talk about the second and third periods and why chronological order bothers Sean so much next on the DLLS Dallas Stars postgame show.
Oh, let's talk about Herman Marshall.
One.
We got a dead Indian right there. Done.
I thought that was going to shatter.
Founded in
All over
2010,
the road.
Herman Marshall, Dallas County's first legal distillery since the repeal of Prohibition. Did you see it stand right up on end right there?
It's still
Get a
there.
shot of that, can you? Let's see. Located in historic downtown Wiley, Texas is proud to partner with the Guns and Hoses Foundation of North Texas on a single barrel expression of its signature straight bourbon whiskey.
He wants the picture so badly.
The Guns and Hoses Foundation is a nonprofit organization dedicated to providing immediate financial assistance to the families of fallen police officers and firefighters lost in the line of duty. They're built from the grain up through family, fellowship, and friends. So, for every bottle of single barrel straight bourbon whiskey, Herman Marshall donates 15% of its revenue to the Guns and Hoses Foundation of North Texas for those who went before. Stop into your closest goody liquors and other fine retailers. And again, standing right up, right there, just
And
as we
not-
planned it.
And then when you flipped that,
The
I thought,
only thing that I didn't do right is get the label facing
that's
the
right.
camera.
You got the back of it. I thought it was going to shatter all over the place.
No.
We'll talk about Empire today and why it didn't later, but let's talk about Blue Chew. Does Blue Chew work? If you're asking that question, we want you to know that Blue Chew is putting their money where their mouth is by giving you a month for free. Blue Chew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but at a fraction of the cost and in chewable form. The process is simple. Sign up at bluechew.com, consult one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. The best part, it's all done online. That means no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code ALLCITY at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's bluechew.com, promo code ALLCITY to receive your first month free. Visit bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. We thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast. Man, you just swirled your cup and those vapors, as I'm reading it, I could almost breathe it in.
It's called aroma.
Yeah, it was good. So why is Sean so upset? Well, Luddy, I just dawned on me. I wasn't thinking about it. Writer, they're programmed to write their story about a game differently than in chronological order. Theirs is their lead, aka the most important thing of the game, followed by the second most important thing, third, fourth, and so
I didn't know that.
and so that literally is 1, 6, 8, 4, 2, 3, 7, 5, whatever.
Okay.
So
we should be leading with the Herman Marshall whiskey drink.
and no, the
And
bottle
the
flip.
bottle. Okay.
That
All
is,
right.
I mean,
We
That's the
read
hi- that's the
stories
highlight of
from
the
the
night right
beginning
there.
to the end
highlight
in
of the night.
order, aka chronologically, like normal non-lunatics. And it's a good way to follow along as the game goes on. But it bothers him because he has written thousands of game stories where he does it in whatever the most important is, not the, well, yeah, okay, he scored, but that was just inconsequential. Am I right?
oh, if someone's gonna watch 5 minutes of this show, I want them to get the most important thing first. That's what I want.
Poor Sam.
Sean, and when he says we go chronological order, he must have a mouse in his pocket because I don't. So he's not talking about me.
Yeah, I don't know what order he
on
does.
Sean's side.
It may
is
not
3
be a
against
mouse.
1 here.
It actually could be a hamster. I don't know, but it's one of them something
It's a
running around
ratatouille
in there.
situation.
It's a ratatouille situation. He is a chef, by the way. All right, so no goals in the second period, but a couple of really interesting high-danger chances. Braden Point drove to the net. He got a pass and went right to the top of the crease. I thought that was a really strong save by Oettinger. Anthony Cirelli was wide open at the crease on a backhander because, as Sean said earlier, about 80% of the time he wasn't going to be covered down there. And then Matt Dumba had a breakaway out of the penalty box. And Sean and I were talking earlier today about goaltending being all butterfly now. Nobody makes stand-up saves anymore. Apparently, unless you're Matt Dumba on a breakaway, because Vasilevsky kept his feet and made the glove save very old-fashioned.
I mean, I'm not sure what's more surprising: a goalie staying on their feet to make a glove save, or Matt Dumba being on a shorthand, not Matt Dumba coming on a breakaway. So the entire world was upside down in that moment. So, it was,
What'd you think of the second period overall? Anything of note other than those three? Because it was sort of they got through it.
Yeah. They got through it.
Yeah.
I just Sean said it right off the top. I mean, we talked about this also. I mean, Jake again allowed them to hang around. They allowed them to hang around and get what. And again, it's a good hockey team, but in a way, Dallas. I don't know if the team, Sean, frustrated Kucherov, or Jake frustrated Kucherov, or he was just frustrated. But he didn't look his same, where he can dance around out there. And a lot of that, I think some of that has to do with the speed of Dallas, how they can close maybe a little bit more on players than other teams can. But I think their spark plug looked a little off tonight.
I think a little bit of the team, because he had 4 shot attempts. 3 of them were blocked.
Yeah.
The only one that was on goal was the 6-on-5 one-timer he had from the right circle that Jake saw and read and pushed across, made what looked like a routine save, even though that's not always that easy. When you can't even get your shots through the layers, that has to be frustrating.
Well, and Kucherov is a guy too who you can. It's well documented. Right? He's a guy who, when he gets frustrated, he's easy to frustrate, and it all continues to boil over. I mean, there was the penalty in the famous one before they ever won a cup in the Columbus series, where he wins the league MVP and then gets suspended for a couple games because he lost his cool. So Kucherov's a guy where when you're frustrating him that way and he hasn't gotten a shot through for 59 minutes or whatever it is before Oettinger made the pretty solid, just easy looking save going right to left. That's going to impact the rest of that team. And I know Victor Hedman is the captain of that team and he's been there before, but that's one of those where I would imagine, and Lud's, you've been on teams before where there's been long-standing captains who, maybe Steven Stamkos was the guy who kind of would tell Victor Hedman to calm down or bring it all in. And that's something where I just wonder, I don't know for sure, just a dynamic I'm fascinated with of handling the times where Kucherov effectively pouts while playing.
I don't know when you talk about that, and you're right. I don't even know if it's the vocal guy, but it's the leadership group. It's the group that's in the room. And when you have that, I've talked about this numerous times, but when that group gets bigger and bigger, and there are the guys that pout or kind of stray off a little bit. It's more of a group effort, getting the right people going.
Well, think about it. Stamkos was their captain.
Yeah.
Andre Palat was a notable part of their team. Alex Killorn is no longer there. He played that. We see this with teams that are either at or close to that dynasty term, where they've been in either multiple cup finals or won a couple. You have to, because of salary cap and of course considerations with younger guys that start demanding higher, new contracts. You can't spread it around to everybody, so guys have to leave. We saw that with the Blackhawks, right? They would keep losing and try to refresh with new guys, and for a little while it worked, but then, at some point they had to get rid of Panarin, they got to get rid of Teravainen. They thought they had Dominic Kubalik for a little while, and this isn't a Blackhawks hour, but the point is that after a while, some of those same veteran guys aren't there. I think there really is something leadership.
Yeah,
there.
and you know what? When you go back to their cup years at Tampa, I mean, there were guys like Yanni Gourde and Goudreau, so there was a supporting cast there. Right now, when you look at
think about the Plano kid, Blake Coleman.
Yeah, Blake. Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. It's like,
there.
and they played. They didn't have to say things. They played the right way. And I don't know I don't know any of those guys honestly, except the coach. But I don't know what Victor Hedman is. He an outgoing? Does he talk a lot? But besides him, Kucherov, Braden Point, I mean, who else is there?
Yeah.
McDonough's there.
McDonough, I would think.
I would think that he would have some voice. But when you leave and come back, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just know that, unfortunately for Mo, that when Mo, the captaincy did that whole thing. I said this before. Mo knows that. That's not Mike's kind of gig. I mean, if he's a captain, he's not going to get in anybody's face.
Yep.
Mike just wanted to be, just let me play. I'm sure he was proud to have the C. But again, somebody will say, I don't know if Brendan Morrow was a rah-rah guy. Hatcher was not a rah-rah guy. And Jamie, I don't know if is a rah-rah guy. But they understand when to turn the switch a little bit. And then you kind of go, oh, yeah, here we go. But
Mike McDonough wasn't going to grab a guy and throw fists for a bit either, whereas a guy like Hatcher, Morrow, Jamie might at least have that tool in their kit.
They get their attention by their actions more so than their words.
And in Kucherov too, you got to go to the fact where like he is part of that leadership group, and like that's one of
Correct.
the things that for the Lightning, you've accepted the evils that come with that. That's something where you take the 135 points or whatever he had last year, but that is a side effect of what he brings to a group. And I just double checked; it's him and McDonough are wearing the letters today. So when you look at the team hierarchy, really the only person who's gonna have the space to not do what he does sometimes is going to be the captain, and that's hard to do when a guy like that is an integral part of your leadership group already. So it's not it is a Lightning thing that's a reality.
Well, by the way, I just want to point out for those watching or listening later, I would take Nikita Kucherov on my team hands down right now.
Yeah.
Unquestionably. Even if he does occasionally get frustrated, we all do. And so
100%.
while we are a bit nitpicky about it, he's still a guy I would build a team around. He's that amazing.
Yeah, let's give some credit to the team that he played against.
Yes.
That may have had something to do with that frustration.
Let's talk about that. The 58 seconds that decided this hockey game, aside from Jake Oettinger keeping him 2-2, you go to the third period, and all of a sudden, Matt Duchene scores a beautiful give-and-go goal from Tyler Seguin for his team-leading 11th of the season. And then 58 seconds later, on a power play, Roope Hintz scores on a breakaway from Wyatt Johnston. We'll talk about that one in a minute because I know what you want to say about it already. We got some dings ready, so be ready, John. But, Sean, Matt Duchene was not always, in his career, create a turnover in the defensive zone that leads to a scoring chance in the offensive zone kind of guy. He has really grown, even just coming to Dallas.
No, he was a create some havoc, then sneak off the ice in the middle of a trade type of guy. So now he's doing things that are building teams. So let's give a ton of credit to the maturity for what Duchene's done. So
we got a bell ringing in the background, so he's just getting ready for it. All right. So that goal, and then Luds, you need to break this down because you had a very strong take.
Which one do you want me to break down?
Well, he's bringing you the bell.
Oh, okay. I know,
but he didn't put you on camera because John didn't want to be on camera. All right. Well, it's not gonna be that crazy. So 58 seconds after Duchene scored, the Stars are on the power play because of a Jake Gensel hooking penalty, which happened about 30 seconds after the Stars took a 3-2 lead, and Robertson pokes a puck free to Wyatt Johnston, who sends it to Roope Hintz. Breakaway goal, and the Stars have a 2-goal lead.
I just want to practice one.
Yep. It's ready.
So what Joe Pavelski's stepson did is he did exactly what Joe did with Roope and Robo. So he never had to break stride. Roope never had to break stride. And that's what Joe was so good at, is he was able to put it into a certain spot for Roope, and then he was able to put it into a different spot for Robo because they travel at different speeds. Their cars don't go at the same speed. And so what Wyatt did is he didn't lay it. He put it in a spot where Roope was able to skate. And I think that is his strength. And when he can do that, there's a different layer of excitement for him. And then this time he finishes it off. So again, is it because now these three are getting in sync with each other? And maybe more so it's about Wyatt getting in sync with those two if you want to take over from what Joe used to do. So, but at the end of the day, it's being able to play from Wyatt's standpoint, being able to understand and recognize what those two guys' strengths are, and vice versa. They have to recognize what Wyatt does, but maybe we're seeing that chemistry start to develop between the three of them.
So the question to both of you, and we have about a minute, we can carry this over. I didn't think that either of those top two lines were all that great tonight, yet both of them found a way to find the back of the net a couple of times, and that's a big reason why they won. Is that a sign of a really good team that even when you're not at your best, you're still finding ways to produce?
Yes.
Okay, Sean, you should say it. It's a sign. It's a sign of the rock in the back there. It's a sign of Jake Oettinger. I mean, isn't that where everything's going tonight for the most part?
And it's fitting because it does. We've talked a lot about the Oettinger versus Vasilevsky thing, but one of the things that goes back to as Tampa was building what became 2 Stanley Cups in their core and 3 straight runs was so much of Vasilevsky was the rock that let them build everything else. It let them play a style that got up and got after a little bit more and allowed for chances against the other way and took a little bit more risk. So that's very much what it is. It's Jake Oettinger doing what Vasilevsky did to help build the pseudo Tampa dynasty. So it's a ton of credit to Oettinger tonight. Like that's exactly where that is.
All right. Up next, we'll take your chats. Super chats regular. Go to YouTube. Well, you have to be already if you're listening and watching to us. We'll do them next here on the DLS Dallas Stars post-game show.
So I'm looking at a text here from Sam who saw a Roback hat in the wild. So I'm looking at that. I'm looking at one of those right there. I don't know. So but as that person wearing that hat, who Sam took a creepy picture of, Roback Activewear, quite simple. The best fit, the best feel. The quality of gear just speaks for itself. Their performance polos perform better in the heat than any other polos. They're moisture wicking, so the polo doesn't stick to you, and you have such a nice stretch. Their everyday shorts are also perfect for the combo for any day on the move, and they look clean but use the comfort of an elastic waistband. With fall right around the corner, what better item to prepare for the season than adding one of their performance hoodies to your closet? They're the softest items you will own, and you won't want to take them off, even with the Dallas heat. So use the code DLLSSTARS20 on roback.com for a generous 20% off your first order. That's spelled RHOBACK.com. That's 20% off polos, hoodies, I think those hats too that guy was wearing in the stands, and shorts with the code DLLSSTARS20. Make sure to check them out, and they will have you ready for whatever travel or activities you have, even if it includes seeing a Stars game in Florida.
Let's talk about Empire today. Did you see how well those floors held up to Luddy flipping a bottle of Herman Marshall, rattled around, didn't break it, didn't dent, didn't scuff? Well, great flooring here in our studio, thanks to Empire Today. Empire Today gives you shop at home convenience with the right product for your needs, quick, professional installation, and a low price guarantee. You can even use their virtual floor designer. Great way to see how new floors will look in any space. It's easy. You just snap a picture and instantly see how new floors will look in your room. Schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use the promo code DLLS. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/DLLS for details. I almost did get restrictions out, but I fought it off and we're good to go. We got a ding?
What's
Sam's
up,
here.
boys?
Sam's here.
Hi,
Sam's
Sam.
here. Sam's here.
Okay, I guess should we have Sam on now?
Let's have Sam on now.
And we do the chats afterwards. All right.
Oh yeah,
it's
Sam's
Sam
here.
right now.
Sam, I'm already afraid of bringing it up, but you
Is that a bar?
Oh yeah, just for you, lads. I'm outside the plaza.
Oh, that's the
bar.
outdoor one.
Have
Is that
a-
the outdoor bar outside?
Yeah.
You have a record of 1-0 in your career on Dallas Stars road trips, and I'm sure you've let some people know about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This guy's actually. Yep. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. These fans are out here asking for me. Yeah. No.
It's as
no,
good
it's
as his
very
acting
exciting.
job the other night on the couch.
Excuse me. That was a great acting job, and those Skittles weren't even
Oh,
mine. I'm
that
pretty
was
sure they were
bad, wasn't it?
Lutz's
Oh, that was
dinner,
awful.
Luddy, why did you go back to acting school after that performance?
You ain't getting on Shorzy with that act.
Who can act asleep? What Lud? Why don't you go ahead and pretend to be asleep?
He acts like it all the time.
Yeah.
I
Anytime
know,
we
he's
start
got his eyes
talking.
open.
What's that?
So anyway, how
I know
did
that was delayed. I'm sorry.
how did it go from your standpoint? It was your first time doing a game from Amalie Arena, and the Stars found a way to win. We talked a lot about Jake Oettinger keeping him in it and then finding a way to get ahead and score, and they've got 2 points. But what was your take? And then we'll ask you about what they're talking about.
Yeah. Well, first of all, this I said it before, but this arena is so much fun to be at. I mean, their pregame was wild, all kinds of crazy lights and stuff. I thought Dallas had some crazy lights, but I had to close my eyes for a little bit in the beginning of the game. But no, it was a really good game. Honestly, the funniest thing that I noticed, or funny is the wrong word, but the interesting thing that I noticed is that this team continues to say we're not playing our best hockey, right? And we've seen that throughout, but they're finding ways to win these games. And as much as we can say over and over again, finding a way to beat the Sharks is not a big deal, or finding a way to beat the Hawks or whatever, this is a very good team that played a pretty good game tonight in a very difficult place to win. So it's just a really, really impressive game. And Mike Heika and I were both kind of thinking this kind of felt like last season's team a little bit, where they go into a third period in a game they can win, and they absolutely do everything they can to win the game. So really just an impressive win.
You and Heika go out tonight and just tear it up, eh?
Heika's already on the bus getting ready to fly to Raleigh. So it's just Sammy baby out on the town tonight.
Sammy baby.
Sorry, boys. I had a few beers before this one.
Oh,
None of us believe that, Sam.
Oh,
yeah, because it's not true. I have water.
By the way, I did try to give him a beer after the skate yesterday, and it was a Bud Zero.
Yes, it was.
He wouldn't drink
Yes,
it.
it was.
You
Yes,
didn't
it
want
was.
to try the NA?
Let me clear something up here. The alcohol isn't the problem. I don't really like beer, so if I'm going to be drinking a beer, it might as well get me drunk too. Otherwise, what's the point?
You did see the bar, right?
Yeah. I saw the bar, and I saw some gentlemen that were definitely using that bar a lot more than I was.
We don't have one gentleman on that roster. let me put it that way.
We'll have to do some.
We're gonna do a podcast
I
from
was
there.
gonna say we're gonna have to do an alumni.
Sean, are you coming into
podcast.
town anytime soon? How's the
Working
budget
on it.
coming?
We need
Super
you, Luds,
chats.
because you have the magic touch with our boss.
Oh yeah, I've never had magic touch with upper management ever in my entire
I
life.
think I mean, Ben's been in the
Jesus.
chat already tonight because he sent out a chat that said, "How did Sam get to Tampa? I'm not paying for that flight."
Oh, look at him.
Yep. So
We do need Sean here when we do, because we've got a big alumni weekend coming up here, and
When
I think
is
it would
that?
be great. First weekend of February, 1st and 2nd, and so
Interesting.
we're gonna do. We're doing a deal where any Minnesota North Star or Dallas Star that's played one game up to 1,000 games in one of those jerseys is welcome to come back, and we're going to do a little green and white game. I think it's on the Sunday, and we'll have a little event and stuff like that on Saturday. So it'll be a fun time.
that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I had another suggestion because it ties in the two teams that Sean covers regularly with the Detroit Red Wings coming to town. Your old team, Montreal, is in Dallas on January 16th. Then they go, so then we have a Friday, no game. That would be good for a
Are we talking about a group road trip here?
No.
Oh,
I'm
damn.
talking about a 4-player alumni skate. We could put John on skates, but I imagine he might hurt his ankles.
That wouldn't go very well.
Right,
I would
so we're talking about a
definitely
Friday
bend very
game.
hard.
With
So
the
do
four
I.
of us. Saturday afternoon, they're in Colorado.
Okay.
Sunday night, they're home against Detroit. That's 3 games over 4 days plus an alumni skate. That'd be a pretty good time to
be a
bring
good
Sean
one.
in, wouldn't it? Or in
That'd be a great time.
mid-January.
Yeah, that'd be a great
Be a good
time. I
one.
need to know ahead in case we don't have that weekend or that Friday set. We can arrange it. Ben, can you pencil these two guys? Well, not. I mean, Sam, you'll be here, right? Sam will be here. Sam, the winger on
No
the
idea.
wall. When you have lots of space, he
Boards,
chips
boards.
it up the wall.
Hey, let me tell you this. I got that puck out of the zone, Luds, all right? I get it done.
You sure did.
Hey, at least I didn't,
Yeah,
I didn't
you
rip
did.
a pass into your skates like that other guy did.
You're right, because you were never up that far up the ice.
One of my favorite moments, I've played a lot with Sean in various pickup games or beer league games, was we were skating a nooner years ago now when he still lived here. And it was before Sean had a full, complete set of players' gear because he's a goalie. He knows where I'm going with this.
Yes, I do.
But he was piecing it together, and I helped because my next door neighbor at the time actually gave me his gear. He decided he's a camera operator, a Steadicam for ESPN, and said, I can't get hurt playing hockey. This is my livelihood. So I'm done playing. So he gave me his gear. I didn't need it. So I said, Sean, I got some stuff. But it kind of worked out. He wore his goalie pants to skate out once before he had that. And so they're extra wide and flared out and just all over the place. And didn't you have some like lacrosse gear or something? There was something lacrosse related before you had finally got like
Oh, I was wearing like I found like a pair of like lacrosse shoulder pads, but that I was
It
wearing.
was
Like,
a interesting combination until
Yeah.
we got him going.
I think it looked
Yeah.
like Sam had goalie pants on too, and skates.
Sam did have lacrosse elbow pads on though. So,
One of my favorite things from Sean is that as a skater, I don't know if you've gotten better at that or are you still playing net, but he does like to play with the one-handed poke check a lot because that's what he's used to as a goalie. So rather than two, I'd pass him the puck and he'd try to catch it one hand. I'd be, Sean, two hands. We had some fun.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
All right, Sam, what
Sorry,
was
I
the
missed it.
conversation downstairs after the game? You were there on site. Report.
yeah, like you guys said, it was a lot of the we didn't play our best. Matt Duchene said it perfectly.
Boy,
There
that
you
place
go.
is
There's a
booming behind you.
There's a nice view of the bar. There's a nice view of the bar. Yeah,
Man,
nobody
you
wants
get up
lose.
and go. There's a number 3 right there walking out.
Nobody wants to party when the Lightning lose, I guess. But yeah, Matthew Shane put it perfectly. He talked about how the team just uses their veteran experience in these moments, right? They knew this was a bad start. It wasn't that they were awful, but the team speed looked like it was a complete difference on the other end of the ice. Tampa just continued to push the Dallas defense. Even Miro Heiskanen, Thomas Harley, some of the best skating guys on Dallas were caught chasing to the net. Luds, I saw your breakdown on that play where the two defensemen spread out. It was a lot of that, right? It was a lot of either a miscommunication or just not reading the play in front of them well enough and reading it too late and having to catch up. And that whole entire speed game kind of flipped in this midway through the second period and obviously all the way into the third period. And he was just really impressed. Pete DeBoer specifically talked about how he was really worried about the penalties. The Tampa power play is excellent. They have so much skill that he was not happy with giving them three power plays. But on the flip side of that, I asked him, power plays, everyone always talks about power plays creating momentum. If you don't score, at least create some momentum for your team. The penalty kill for the Stars is probably even better at that than their power play, right? Especially even when their power play is going, the penalty kill seems to bring even more momentum, and they really fed off those penalty kills. And I think it was just a gutsy win over here that I was just really impressed with.
I think anytime a penalty kill does the job, because of what it usually means is 4 working 5, and that's bad to say when Sean is sitting there, because we so often, I'll tell our guys too, like, it isn't 4 against 5. That guy back there counts, so it is kind of 5 on 5 as long as you give up things from the perimeter. But yeah, I agree. I think that you get a good bump from guys sitting on the bench when your penalty kill does the right thing. By the way, Sam, is that your Uber driver behind you, or your grandma back there over your left shoulder?
Other shoulder.
Your other left.
Oh yeah. I got it set up so I right out of here as soon as possible. I'm hitting the nightclubs, so I got to make sure I get there on time. Hey, how about the skill? So Mike Heika asked an interesting question. It kind of sounded silly at first, but he asked if the high octane skill goals are important, and I was kind of wondering what he meant by that. But really, for the guys that scored those goals, tell me that Roope Hintz scoring a flying through the middle breakaway goal, top shelf, doesn't give him more confidence than maybe chipping a tip in or maybe getting one off his body. And then Heiskanen picking that corner is a huge confidence boost for him. These were some very skilled goals. I mean, that Duchene goal was so pretty. Just beautiful passing on that play, great shots on the other play. And I know I've been saying it to you guys over and over again. It just felt like Roope Hintz hasn't had that in his game a lot this season. We haven't seen him just flying through the middle. And we used to see that pretty much every game, right? You get a breakaway every game. And I think it was Mark Janko afterwards saying, congrats, you finished one, right? And Roope was like, finally, because it seems like it's been forever since he's finished a breakaway goal. So I just really think the skill showed tonight, and I really think that helps confidence.
What was that little boat that he said he was on? It was a little duck boat or something?
Was it the SS
Water
Minnow?
taxi.
A water taxi? Is that the captain of the water taxi over there talking to your grandma?
I need to start doing these outside more often. This is way more entertaining.
Hey, Sean, let me ask you that. Let me ask you what Sam said. From Vasilevsky's standpoint, or a goalie standpoint, when that kind of goal is scored by Roope, does it do anything to the goaltender, or is it kind of because it is that guy versus a fourth line guy?
I think from a goaltending perspective, I don't think who scores against you typically has much of an impact one way or the other. It's kind of how it goes in. It's maybe when you look back at it, you're like, okay, that guy's an elite goal scorer, an elite point producer, okay. But I think more so in the moment, it's more of how it went in, and that's a great goal by Hintz. to Sam talking about kind of confidence building, kind of flipping it to the player perspective, right? Like, it's got to feel good when you're scoring goals that might actually end up in highlight reels, right? Like the Dadonov goal in the first period counts exactly the same, but that's not ending up in a highlight reel. That's not something that people are watching back later. So I think that definitely doesn't hurt, especially for those guys who have deservedly have that higher profile and are supposed to be the stars for terrible pun usage right now. So
Sean, I want to follow up. Nicely
Yeah.
done. I wanted to ask you, Sean, because we asked Jake about that crazy Ilya Lyubushkin play. What he said when I asked him what goes through your mind, any of those plays, not just that one, just when you get into scramble mode. He was talking about how he likes to say that it's controlled chaos, but really a lot of times it just becomes one thought after the other, one thought after the other. What goes through a goalie's mind when you're in a position like that and just kind of scrambling?
I think the first thing right now, and it's what good goalies really do, is it's so much if you watch a goalie's head and the tracking during all of that. The body can be crazy and all over the place. Even like the Vasilevsky save in the first period on Tyler Seguin is one where he's a little bit out of control, but if you watch his head, it's very locked in on the tracking. And I think one of the biggest thing is if you can keep your head locked in on and tracked on the puck well, your body will follow in some shape or form. It's not always going to be perfect, but that to me is what, and we see that a lot with Jake. We see that with Vasilevsky and a couple things tonight. It's if you can control that part of your body, everything else will follow, and then that allows you to control a little bit more of that chaos than you ever would before.
That makes sense.
Oh, and by the way, guys, I just want to let you know we are confirmed with ice on January 10th.
Oh, he already double checked. Well,
Look at
January
that.
10th.
Look at
That's
that.
the week before. What about the week after?
Well, I don't know. Maybe they got the date. They're drinking too. I don't know. I have no
bet
idea.
They are. Let's
they're
Sam,
sending
hang out
messages
for just a
unprompted.
second here before we get to the chat, because that's coming up next on the DLS Dallas Stars post-game show. Well, what are we talking about here? The Die Hard program, of course. Take that QR code, scan it, sign up. Go to alldls.com if you prefer. Click on Die Hard and become a Die Hard. Why do you do that? Look at those two writers. They both can't stand chronological order. They want the lead. Second most important thing. Third, and the only way you can read all of the things that they're putting out there is to be at the Die Hard level, because many of their great works of art, aka writing, are on the Die Hard level. Plus, shirts like this one, you can get a discount on merchandise, and you get a promo code each year you sign up to be a Die Hard for one free DLLS t-shirt of your choice. Anything offered in the DLS merch shop, you can get one with that promo code, or you can even hang on to it, because at some point, maybe we'll have a Luddy Damn Discord t-shirt, or a No Distractions, or a 0 Days Till Ding kind of thing. Lots of options. DLLS.com.
Oh, it moved.
And you can, it's all DLLS.com.
Oh, man.
And you can get your Die Hard subscription, and it's worth every penny. Plus, there's things like members-only events that we will be working on in coming months. We might have a watch party
I'm
only.
slow on the draw, apparently.
It's okay.
Okay.
It's all right. I didn't
was
say his
reading
name.
it, but it's
When did
something
he
of the
get the
Vegas
bell?
day game.
Yeah?
There's ice.
Okay.
If that means anything.
Okay, that's around that time.
Just want to relay, get it out
Bloody's
there.
just trying to make sure that if we want to get Sean here, there
Ben,
will be ice.
Ben, got
Ben.
that marked down, Ben?
All right, Sam, we're about to hit the super chat. Are you going to hang out for the super chat, or are you going to take off?
You
I'm
need to
not.
lose
I'm
that
not.
brown jacket and that blue shirt and hit it. Go hit
Yeah,
it.
I'm brown jacket. What are you?
Well,
what are you
I
on,
don't know.
Luds?
What color is
Oh,
it?
she left, Sam.
It's gray. I'm getting on there. I was supposed to go with my grandma and the captain back on the water taxi, but I guess she bailed on me, so I'm on my own.
So, time tomorrow. How do you get to Raleigh? Is it tomorrow or is it Monday?
Yeah, tomorrow. So I think there's like one flight out of here to Raleigh. So I leave, I think, late morning or something like that. So I'll get in there tomorrow afternoon. I will not be able to get there to practice. I tried so many different ways. I think it's physically impossible. So I think maybe they'll do an optional anyway, but I'll be there tomorrow afternoon, and then morning skate will be, I think, a full morning skate, which will be nice in Raleigh on Monday or whatever the heck day it is.
Sean, would you ever hang out in the hotel lobby of the team if you didn't have practice availability, or is that sort of off limits?
Do you
Creeper.
want the answer? Do you want the answer for the live show or the answer for when you and I talk on the phone? At
I
another
want you.
point?
We are live right now, so the live show would be just fine.
I don't know what the team hotel is. That's something that's my answer for on the live show. So,
All right, John.
Well done.
Hey, Sam, enjoy your night with Heika,
Yes.
so Sam,
or whenever you get there.
Sam, if you really want to make it to practice tomorrow, and we'll tell Ben to put this on the bill, you can go to rental car. I just looked it up. It's a 9-hour, 24-minute drive. You could get on. You could get there right now. You could go rent a car. You can make it there for practice tomorrow. If that's really that important,
That's
you can do that.
dedication when you don't have the charter flight.
He's got nothing else
you
to
know
do
what?
tonight.
You know what? I actually heard that the water taxi has an express speed that actually gets you there in about 24
geez.
hours. So
You'll be there in time for puck drop on Monday. Well, Sam,
boys.
thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed your first game. Can't wait for game 2 on Monday in Raleigh.
All right, guys. Thanks. Have a good night.
Up the
Bye, Sam.
wall.
Up the wall. I love it. All right, John, it's chat time. For those of you watching, hit up the chat. We'll go through it. There's already some pretty funny ones and some stuff for Luds, apparently. So
Oh,
what do you have
nice.
for us?
Bing bong.
I Love Misty, 1985. A little Robertson and Ludwig. Could be Dumbo, but I'm going to think it's Ludwig. Couldn't watch the game because of work, but it's always nice to see the Stars get 2 points on the road against an Eastern team. Also, is it just me, or does Sean look like a teenager when clean shaven? What's the rest of that say?
Oh,
It went away. Well, there's Sam.
Oh my God! Why is Sam back?
What's
Sorry, I
going
lost the
on?
comment.
There it is.
I guess the comment.
That's a compliment.
Hey, can you go back to that picture? Did he just have a stroke?
I think that picture's
Oh, there
gone.
we go. That must have been when he was disconnecting. It must have gotten
Somebody
stuck.
else dial 911.
So, Sean, we've talked about this before on
Yeah.
the show about what you look like when clean shaven, and I Love Misty said it's a compliment.
okay. As long as it's a compliment. I mean, yeah, I've told this story before on this platform where I was covering high school football before, and they asked me what grade I was in, and why I was trying to sneak into the press box. So I've had that.
Yeah,
in my
just to
life.
get that Chicken Express. So the funny thing is, Sean ranges from 15-year-old to Forrest Gump running across country, and it just depends on when we catch him on the show.
Yeah.
We like it that way.
All right, on to the next one.
Bing bong.
Marshall second. This is a 5. That's a Lundqvist, and a Johnston, 53. Duchene has been playing great with him being on his second one-year deal. What's the process for re-signing? So, Grammar Owen, that's resigning. Re-signing, you need to have a dash there, or AKA a hyphen. Re-signing and have y'all heard anything? So, Sean, re-signing Matt Duchene.
Haven't heard anything yet, but it's we talked about the CBA the other day and the cap going up, and there's a couple key priorities for this team, and I think Duchene will definitely be in the conversation for that. Obviously, Jim Nill had the pretty public comment about how he wants to get jamiebenn unsigned. Getting Wyatt Johnston signed is going to be, that next deal is going to be very important. So I would imagine, though, how Jim Nill operates. If all of a sudden something with Matt Duchene gets done during the season, it wouldn't surprise me anymore with how Duchene has played. That is how Jim likes to jump
I
on
was
things.
just going to say, get your bell ready. Are you ready?
He's going to be on this plan. That's what I think he's going to be on. I think he's going to be on a 1 year after year. And I think I think he loves it here. I think he knows that he's playing very well here, and this suits his skill set and the way he likes to play. And I think he's obviously chasing a championship, and I don't think he's going to run off for a big deal. I think, I don't know. That's just my opinion.
I agree with you that if the Stars go far again or not, but don't win, I think the likelihood of another 1 year deal for Matt Duchene is very high.
Yeah.
If the Stars do win, then it's 50-50. Does he want to try to chase a second one with Dallas, or does he want to, especially if he continues at this point rate?
Would this team be
could
any
the
different?
last- Would just be
Would the team be different if they win one this year? Are they going to be any different next year?
no,
Except having Bork a year mature,
maybe Liam Bichel in the lineup.
maybe Bichel. I'm just saying they could be the same or better.
Here's the only reason why I think he would go somewhere else. this would be the chance for him to sign up one more big deal. He's got plenty of money. He's signed a ton already over his lifetime.
How old is Matt?
He's in his early 30s now,
I was
right?
going to say 34.
He's 33. He's 33.
33.
Yeah, so
Okay, so he'd be. You think he's going to get another big deal? I don't think he's going to get more than 2 years anywhere.
You don't
else.
think he could get a 4-year deal as a free agent after, let's say, he scores 80 to 90 points?
I think San Jose
Is
will
that
sell him.
crazy?
Yeah, I mean, no, he could. It's the discussion point for him. Do you want to be the impact, the kind of part of the second wave of players, a second line build like he is in Dallas on a very good team, or do you want to go somewhere and take and make more money and on a bad team? And the other thing with Duchene to think about is like he's still getting paid by the Predators. I believe it goes all the way through 27, 28 with the buyout money too. So for him, there's extra and additional money there. Like if you're going to keep signing 1-year deals with Dallas or any other contending team, he's still getting paid by another team for another 3 years as well.
Which is a bonus for Jim Nill, right, Sean?
Oh yeah, 100%.
You know?
100%. Yeah.
And I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. And the other thing about when you say play for a lower team, or not a lower team, but not a skill team, I don't think it suits him. I think that because his game is to really distribute. You know, he needs people he can play with to complement his skill set.
The only thing I could possibly think about for a reason that's just from the human element of why Duchene might want whereas there is something where he's got a family, he's got kids, that could be the level of, you know what, if I can find that 3-4 year deal with wherever it is, my family this is where it is for the rest of my career. I could see players sometimes make that decision.
That's stability. Yes.
Yes. So.
You said he's made a lot of money. I think he's got stability.
No. Stability, and you don't have to move your kids. If he
doesn't have to move his kids here.
No. But like, what if he wants to play 2 or 3 or 4 more years? And if you start team hopping, right? His family's with him in Dallas. I think he said last year they built a house near Nashville. That's their forever home. But then they also really like it here. You never know, right?
Well, let's get Sam on it. Maybe he could handle that tomorrow.
Okay.
Find out.
Well, if he makes practice, which he probably won't. So, any more super chats before we get on to our other elements?
Yes, we have 2 more.
Rental car.
Rental car from Sean. Ardell sends in a Lundqvist and Lyubushkin. Lyubushkin has been solid on the blue line all season. What is he bringing to the top 4 that makes him fit so well? Can he keep it up?
Stability. He would be an easy guy to play with. We've seen him toss in a little more offense than I think we've expected, but he knows exactly who he is. He doesn't get outside of that. He's a good defender. He's got a physical side to him. I mean, not a Charlie Manson kind of thing, but he's got a physical side to him. I think probably not a really good.
That's a great analogy.
Well,
Charles Manson. That's a first.
I
on
wasn't
our
thinking
show.
of that one. I was thinking of Dave Manson, which his nickname was Charlie.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm glad you clarified because I thought you were talking about.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I didn't mean that guy. No, I think any coach would love to have him on his team, and I think the players know exactly what he's going to do, what he brings. So. It's kind of like the whoopee, you know what I mean? Like he's that nice warm blanket that can do a little bit of this, but he most important thing is he understands who he is and what his role is.
He also he also cares about actually trying to cover Cirelli going to the net.
Bing bang. Last one.
D-Stars Die Hard gave a little bit of a Smith Lyubushkin. Proud of Luds learning how to talk into a mic.
Are you being facetious? See that word come out of there?
Word?
It's a solid word.
That's a solid word. Yeah, but again, I go back to our director. I mean, the program dude is supposed to be able to do these mic checks and recognize little things like that.
Like when your mic was
Well, I mean,
It's like
you couldn't even see it. So if you are eventually watching on our fast channels, which I don't believe you are, but you will be potentially, thank you very much for joining us here on the DLS postgame show. For everybody else that's watching on YouTube, we will continue here for just a couple more minutes because we have some whiskey to talk about. And if you're listening to this later on the audio podcast, you can see how much time we have left. So don't worry about it. We have to do like
you can take that sass and go straight to our boss's office with it next time on Tuesday when you're in.
But I don't mind
Mr.
doing
Owen.
it. But we don't actually have anybody watching. So if I say if you're watching on the fast channels, they're not yet. So wouldn't that be disingenuous?
I don't know.
I think I
Just
stumped
do your
our
damn
producer.
job. How about that?
Wow.
Do as you're told.
You hear that? I was told like a Bill Belichick, do your damn job.
I agree.
All right, let's do our
Days
Herman
off.
Marshall marquee moment of the game. You can pick up a bottle at your favorite, or actually pick up your favorite bottle at your closest goody liquor store.
Well, for me, it's going to be the guy that we've just been talking about. I think I look at that third goal, and what stood out to me the most is how he picked it off in the defensive zone. And to me, those are the offensive instincts. He's able to read where he would put a puck in that certain situation, and he's gotten so much better in that defensive zone, and then be able to get up the ice and attempt that backhanded pass that works out for him in Miro's goal. So I'm going with Matt Duchene.
So for every bottle of single barrel straight bourbon whiskey, Herman Marshall donates 15% of its revenue to the Guns and Hoses Foundation of North Texas. For those who went before, stop into your closest goody liquor store to find your favorite bottle. So is Duchene your man of the match and your marquee moment?
Yeah, well, I could go either way, but my guy is. There's another one of those outtakes. I was going to leave Sean Otter.
Okay.
Because that's a
very generous
no-brainer.
of you.
I just didn't know how to go. I mean, I want to go Otter, but I got to give a little, Duchene love, so he sticks around Dallas because you guys are already shipping him out of town, apparently.
Sean, man of the match?
Yeah, I'll go with Oettinger. The big test, big opponent, solid. Basically kept him in it when he needed to early, kept him in it late. I'm going with Oettinger.
I agree. I think Oettinger would be my top star. Guess what? He was not in the 3 stars tonight, if that matters. I would agree with Duchene, but I think an honorable mention to Anthony Cirelli. I thought he was really good.
He
for
must
Tampa
have been
tonight.
their first star.
He
in
was their
Tampa.
number 2 star tonight.
Really?
They gave Duchene the 1st star and Heiskanen the 3rd star, and Cirelli was the number 2. I thought he was really dangerous tonight.
Yeah, he was. He was all over it.
All right, so just a quick look ahead because we have to wrap things up here tonight on the post-game show. Stars will have a supposed practice day tomorrow. If they do indeed practice in Raleigh, then they probably won't have much more than an optional skate like they did this morning on Monday. The Hurricanes are a very different team than the Lightning. What are you expecting to see from them against the Stars on Monday?
I think Dallas will be under siege in the beginning because they're a straight line team and they throw everything to the net. And their team is built, the way that Brendan Moore wants to play. It's fast and direct everything to the net. And so I would think that there would be a lot of chances at both ends. But by the way that they play, and they're not that possession kind of team, a little different than Dallas. So as they enter the offensive zone or get at least, it could be the center line, but their pucks are going in. So it'll be interesting to see what the territorial battle is and how much time you have to spend in your own zone versus the offensive zone because of the way that Carolina plays.
And Sean, they shoot from everywhere, every angle.
Yeah.
It's go to the net, funnel, get rebounds, retrievals. Stars are going to have to do what they did actually really well later in the game tonight, which is collapse and make sure those second and third chances aren't getting to Jake Oettinger.
Yeah, by far probably the best retrieval team in the league. Between dumping it in and going and getting it, tracking pucks down off rebounds from the low to high, ton of low to high, right? While a lot of the NHL has become more of a look for the fancy, the look for the pretty east-west cross seam pass play, the Hurricanes are still very much more of a throwback north-south when in the zone. So that's something to watch, and they've got talent that can execute within that space. I mean, I don't think anyone here would have expected Martin Netches to have 33 points after 20 games, right? They've got that one.
They
to
weren't
me
even
is
sure they were going to re-sign him.
I know, that one to me is just one of the biggest stories of this season. When you look at individual players that have just come out of nowhere, but you're like, that wasn't supposed to happen. So
Luddy, one last thing for you, actually for both of you. Tonight was the beginning of a stretch of 9 games for the Stars over 16 days. It is a brutally compact schedule where they have no more than 1 day off between games. And in the case of next week, not as in Monday, but as in the beginning of December, they have a back-to-back with a home game against Winnipeg, and then they have to play in Salt Lake City the next night. There is a time change, but that's still a tough turnaround. How do you, getting off on the front foot by winning in Tampa is a really good way to start this stretch of games.
Yeah, but okay, so here's the deal. It's because of this compressed schedule, right? With the everybody's got the same schedule.
Oh,
so
yeah.
they're all having to do the same thing, but I think it's what's nice about it. It's nice from the coaching standpoint. Especially because you're not going to have a lot of practices in there where you can work on things.
None.
So when your game is going in the right direction, you're not pulling your hair out in order to figure out how do we do these things with these guys, because we don't have that kind of time. So I think they got it together at the right time to have this kind of a stretch.
Sean, how do you think they use Oettinger this week? Is it as simple as DeSmith gets the Wednesday game in Chicago, and then the second night he'll play in Utah, basically, and that would give Oettinger Carolina, Colorado, and Winnipeg?
That sounds right to me, and I think that would be the smart play. The one thing, maybe if they want to throw a wrinkle in and give DeSmith one additional game, just from a long-term load management perspective, it wouldn't stun me. But I think what you laid out there is probably how it will play out.
Well, before the next time they have more than 1 day off in a row after what they just did Thursday, Friday before tonight's game will be December's 9th through the 11th. That's the next time they actually have, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, 2 days in a row or more. They actually have 3. So it's a very, very tight schedule. Lots of games. Like I said, 9 games in 16 days, which ends at home against Calgary after that trip to Utah, LA, and Vegas. And it does it. They pick up again and play another jam pack. The point is, as Letty said, don't feel bad for them because everybody's going through it. But it's very interesting to see how the team handles these compressed things. And Sean, as you said, it's very easy to look at these big opponents, Winnipeg, Colorado, Carolina, and go, well, we need Jake Oettinger for that. I would agree you do. But you also, if you're thinking about playoffs and long game, you got to make sure that you can trot Casey DeSmith out there and not be worried about it. I don't think they have any issues with trust with DeSmith, but they still want to go Oettinger as much as they can. That's a juggling match, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's not just that Oettinger. Like we talked in our pregame show about Blackwell and when he might get back in. Like with this schedule, right? Like we know we've heard it's been very public about Tyler Seguin playing back-to-backs might not be a reality for Tyler Seguin. You've got a older veteran team that can handle not practicing. This is the time where you've got to make sure as a staff, and this is why the Stars put some more money into their exercise science and why they've done all this, to make sure you're doing what's right by this group so that this schedule, obviously you keep focusing on winning games, but that this part of the schedule doesn't lead to any long-term lasting damages and everything like that.
Personally, I'm not looking that far ahead. I'm just trying to work on my prognostication.
Oh, he's so good at it.
Hammering that word. I just need the 3 more games. I got 3 more games. I need, I can't remember exactly what it was, but I think I need 2 of the 3 wins.
So we're going to have to dig it out because Sean and I were talking, and Luddy, about this before we went on air. We think it might have been after the Finland trip, but before the Chicago game, and talking about the rest of the November schedule. And I can find it when he did it. Lud's made a big take about how many points they would have. Did you say
I said
17 points?
Their point percentage was going to be 727.
720. I'm going to have to look this up.
I'm pretty sure
quickly.
it was before. I'm pretty sure it was before. Did Dallas beat Chicago then? I don't remember.
They did.
Oh, yeah.
They
I
did.
definitely said it before that.
Them.
Yeah. So that it was because there was I don't know how many games there were. Anyway, I think it was for the rest of the month.
I think you're probably right. We'll have to dig it out. Oh, here it is. Monday, November 4th, Luddy's bold takes. Stars will surge back in North America, and we were going to look at the game schedule. So we'll have to go to that segment. I'll take a look. Maybe we can pull it up. And
well, let's not pull it up unless it turns out.
You want to
right.
wait until the end of November? Okay.
You want all the bad things to come out all the time. Let's just wait and see.
No. We like to say, what did I tell you?
Well, what did I tell you?
There you go.
Let's see.
Sean, we don't know when you're on next. Do you?
I think it'll be It will be next week.
Well, it's all games next week. We have a 4-show week.
I know.
And it's
I know.
all games because we have a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday week.
I believe it'll be late next week.
They're not flying you in for the team party?
No, they're not, unfortunately. No, I will be.
No Friendsgiving for him.
I will be in because I'll be in London, Ontario, not London, England. I'll be in London, Ontario Monday for the CHL USA Challenge then, and then I believe Wednesday we have the other part of our trade where we traded Sam away for a day or something like that to another
Locked On.
Yeah, I don't know what you mean. No Thanksgiving for him.
No Friendsgiving.
Well, what?
Friendsgiving. It's Tuesday.
Is that what this thing's called?
Friendsgiving.
Oh, I thought it
on
said
Tuesday.
Thanksgiving. I mean, he's feeding the whole neighborhood. He's got a flock of geese living in his swing set back
That's very
home.
true.
Okay.
Pulp
Yeah,
Fight
yeah.
for
Flying
everyone.
next week.
There was some great Sean content on the Discord. I don't know if you guys saw this
Oh,
from
jeez.
Burn Doyle's mail.
Oh, jeez. Oh, my
Waiting
God.
in the YouTube stream, watching on you, Sean. Look at that.
So Sean,
Oh
lock
my
your
God.
doors. Make sure the windows are bolted.
Jeez.
Well, that's because
Wow.
Letty made a Charles Manson reference and got everybody a little on edge.
Back in the day, we could say that kind of stuff. It's for big number 4 Chicago Blackhawks, by the way.
There
Look
you
back
go.
in the past.
Anyway, that's it for us tonight. Don't forget we're on 5:30 Monday pregame show. Stars and Hurricanes from Raleigh. Sam will be reporting live. We don't know. Maybe Sean will be there. Maybe he won't.
Who knows?
I'm going to guess
Who knows?
maybe not, but who can say? And look at
Here
that.
was Sam's live shot. My man of the match is the staff of Bolts Bay, who was all standing around waiting for Sam to finish his live shot
Yeah.
so they could go home.
So they could go home. He should have gone up there and see what he could order for a drink at that time, unless they were all closed
They didn't have
down.
any little stools for him to step up on.
He did. Now he
The
did.
bar was too high.
Now he did talk. One of the first things he brought up about the arena was the lights. So it was.
You started dying laughing when he said that because
It
that's
was
the
just-
first thing you said.
I knew exactly what would happen.
Well, thank you to everybody in the chat. We enjoyed all the interaction. I believe there was a lot of shots at Sean, me, and Luds. So we didn't even get to all of it. Check it out. We'll be there Monday. Stars and Hurricanes. Have a great weekend.
See you, Joe.
For Joe Pavelski and his fellow Scotty, Craig Ludwig, and for Sean Shapiro, I'm Owen Newkirk. Thank you, John, even if he feels too much sass. So long, everyone.
We all silly like the mayor.